Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Appreciate you jumping on. Do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. Certainly helps the channel. On today's episode, we are going to talk about the ever-changing stablecoin world. You're also going to hear directly from Chris Larsen on the Ripple stablecoin RLUSD. And you're going to find out another country has banned Bitcoin. First, Japan said they will not use it as a strategic reserve due to the volatility, and now we have another country doing the same. Find out who that is in a little bit. First, we're going to jump into some pricing. Not a whole lot of activity in the last 24 hours, 48 hours. Bitcoin sitting at 92,343. Ethereum sitting at 3,326. Down just 1% over the last 24 hours. Tether still in the number 3 spot. XRP down 6.7% in the last 24 hours, sitting at $2.02. So trying to hang on to that $2 mark. And Solana sitting in the 6th spot at 188.65, down 2.5% over the last 24 hours. Let's dive into some news. Starting first with the great Smoke Dog. He says how RLUSD, the stablecoin from Ripple, will quickly surpass USDT, which is Tether, and USDC, which is Circle. He says RLUSD is set to redefine the stablecoin landscape with its unique advantages over both Tether and USDC. It will surpass Tether by being fully compliant with regulatory standards, addressing the long-standing concerns around transparency and trust. Additionally, RLUSD will offer superior rewards, creating more value for users and driving greater adoption. Compared to USDC, RLUSD stands out due to its seamless integration with Ripple's XRPL. Unlike Circle, which relies on external blockchains like Stellar and Polygon to operate USDC, RLUSD is natively built on one of the most advanced blockchains in the industry. The XRPL's speed, scalability, and cost efficiency ensure that RLUSD delivers unmatched performance for global payments and decentralized applications. This combination of compliance, superior rewards, and powerful blockchain integration positions RLUSD as a true leader in the stablecoin space. So really good points there from Smoke Dog regarding RLUSD, and he has just a couple of attachments here saying, of course, RLUSD will rival Tether and Circle. He highlights there in that part of the article, and then on to heavy competition. It says, as the market heats up and investors potentially more value incentives, RLUSD's chances might revolve around offering attractive returns to its users. And he repeats here, however, USDC does differ in one crucial aspect from Ripple stablecoin in that Circle does not have its own blockchain. That is huge and will be huge as we move into the future. By being able to offer both the rails, its XRPL blockchain, and the token that can move along the rails, RLUSD, for cross-border payment companies, Ripple is positioned to be able to provide a complete solution rather than needing to partner with other providers such as Circle's Ripple partnership to supply MoneyGram. That's right, they won't need to partner with anybody to do this because they can use the XRPL. A huge advantage that will come to light, in my opinion. Moving on, also from Smoke Dog here, he says, yes, the European Central Bank is currently laying the technical foundation for the digital euro. No more pilots, no more experiments, no more tests. The next step, live commercial transactions with real money. And in his clip here, he says the digital euro, to deliver our mission and fulfill our responsibilities, we need to bring retail central bank money to the digital age by providing a digital equivalent to cash. A digital euro will empower Europe in 3 ways: support the digital transition, offer greater convenience, enhance Europe's strategic autonomy, Currently, we are laying the technical foundations for the potential issuance of the digital euro. So that is coming in Europe, ladies and gentlemen. Things happening fast and furious. Moving on to Mr. Mann here, he highlights an interview with Chris Larsen about the RLUSD here. It says, prophecy fulfilled. RLUSD stablecoin, Ripple stablecoin is here, and I'm ready for the network effect in 2025 to catch. Chris Larsen and Naveen Gupta, formerly of Ripple, explain it best. So take a listen to this interview here.
Am I right in thinking the strategy is then to get kind of a nationwide deployment of Ripple? And if so, how is that going to work? What's the strategy?
Yeah, so the strategy really is now first try to get a bank in each of the key regions of the world. Because if you can connect one bank on ACH in the US to one bank on SEPA in Europe, you have effectively connected all of the banks on those two networks. So you really get a multiplier effect. Now we have this Fedor out of Germany on SEPA, and we have now these two US banks on ACH. Now we got to work on China, we got to work in South America, India, and really continue to spread it and get to some of the bank networks. So definitely getting banks as gateways to bring currencies onto the platform is very important. And then along with that, bringing market makers to make markets between those currencies, cross currencies. We've already been pretty successful there. We have about 7 institutional market makers already. Now it's really kind of filling it up with banks.
What are you thinking? At what point we will see that, at least in the payment space, the crypto becomes the infrastructure for movement of value, or at least for the majority of the value transfer across the world? Are we talking 5 years, 10 years, or another 50 years? Yeah, I think to my mind, 3 years, right? And it's a combination of two things. So it's a combination of players like us, who are laying the infrastructure, laying the pipe, the service, the plumbing and everything, right? And then second, rise of stablecoin, okay? Because as the rise of stablecoin happens, then you have...
So you see his clever new...
The government issues stablecoins as well. Then you have something issued by the government where the institutions are not worried about risk. I mean, people are essentially saying, what, I'm comfortable with this, right? And then you're suddenly able to see that government backed, it could be US dollars, it could be AED, it could be a number of other things, to essentially be used in a big way. So I think these two will cause a dramatic change. And in my mind, it's just a 2 years away, not larger than that, because I also see it as a very big monthly market, right? I mean, think about it. A country A issues a stablecoin, that works brilliantly well. I mean, essentially say, I'll use this. So the local...
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get back to that portion.
Currency issuer says, I need to match this very, very quickly, otherwise my customer will essentially migrate to that stable coin that essentially it will that stable coin, and that is just the CBDC kind of a situation.
So Naveen Gupta there is saying 3 years he believes this will take effect, and many institutions will be using this. And then earlier in the video, Chris Larsen says they don't have to get all of the banks. They just have to get a few of the big banks set up, like ECH has been set up in the past, and that will get them there. And then they'll begin to work on other major banks in other countries. So this is very exciting, and the timeline seems to be pushed up quite a bit. So great to hear there. Let's move on to additional news here from Cowboy X, who says Aaron Kaplan, CEO of Prometheum, describes how they went about creating a company entirely based off the DAO report Bill Hinman gave. Remember that Kaplan's daddy is a highly regarded securities lawyer that has worked closely with the SEC and other regulatory agencies. So, and then he highlights an interview here, which we're going to take a quick listen to. So take a listen to this. This has to do with the beginnings of Ripple, the lawsuit with the SEC and how it went down and what people know. Take a listen.
So way back in 2013, when Bitcoin was just gaining popularity, we examined it as, I'm a securities attorney by trade, and I examined it as a financial instrument. And the thought process is that there needed to be frameworks to allow for this asset class, the industry, to grow. I mean, this is Bitcoin. It's right at the time of, it's before the Ethereum ICO. Mm-hmm. And essentially the thought process was as well, if we're able to trade Bitcoin through an ATS and a brokerage account, and give the investor protections and the consumer protections of the federal securities laws, that it would be a way forward that made a lot of sense. So in April 2014, we submitted our first no action letter to the SEC, basically asking them to not take action against us should we trade Bitcoin on an ATS in a brokerage account. At the time, we were a little bedbug, but then I continued to focus my practice as a securities attorney on the application of distributed ledger technology to the securities industry and really the related regulatory issues. And when the Dow report, or let me take a step back, but it was always our thesis that essentially the federal securities laws provided a great framework to regulate the intermediaries, the trading, the custody activity related to Bitcoin and then digital assets. And then when the Dow report came out in July 2017, which was really the first time that the SEC gave an indication that the federal securities laws applied to digital assets, that was the catalyst we needed to start the company. I think we started the company a couple months thereafter. And the goal of the company was to build a public market and custodial infrastructure under the federal securities.
So right there, he says it. That was the catalyst for us to start the company. They were basically given a free pass, which Ripple was not given a free pass. Ripple was taken to court for 4 years, and it's still not over. So unfair advantages, not an even playing field, is the main thrust of this, which is unfortunate. But we are nearing the end, I believe. So that is a great thing for Ripple and XRP. Coming in from Mr. Mann here, he says, this is not correct. Europe's MiCA regulations have a phased approach. So while we're hearing a lot that Tether will be cut off and illegal for use on December 30th, 2024 in Europe, which is what I initially believed, that is not correct. Here, Mr. Mann breaks it down. It says Europe's MiCA regulations have a phased approach. First, phase 1, June 2024. 2, phase 2, December 30th, 2024, which is the one we're hearing about now, of course, because we're on that date. And phase 3, July 2026. USDT will not be illegal for use in Europe after December 30th. Exchanges are proactive and delist USDT from exchanges because it does not, let's dig in here a little deeper, does not comply with MiCA, but it's not illegal. July 2026 is the final iteration for the phased MiCA implementation. So basically have another, year and a half, 2 years. By July 2026, all crypto assets, including stablecoins like USDT, must comply with MiCA's requirements to operate within European unions. So, exchanges are doing what they need to do. They're getting ahead of things, delisting Tether, which certainly will impact Tether. But as far as the European Union goes and the MiCA regulations, it is not illegal, and they'll have time to phase out of Tether. Other exchanges, other people using Tether will have time to phase out of Tether by 2026, or Tether can come into compliance. I would think that's an option too. So we will continue to watch this and continue to report on it for you, ladies and gentlemen. And just wanted to clarify that with Tether. So let's move on to Good Morning Crypto here, who is talking about the Blockchain Association and breaking. He says Blockchain Association sues the IRS over crypto broker rules. The lawsuit alleges that the IRS new rules take effect in 2027 exceeds the agency's statutory authority and violates the Administrative Procedure Act. So the IRS is trying to implement something here that the Blockchain Association does not agree with. So they're pushing back, which is great to see them being on top of this, even during the holidays. So we'll keep you updated on that as well. Smoke Dog here comes in and says the unified ledger will include ISO 20022 compliant crypto assets, which include XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, Algo, Quant, IOTA. The unified approach aligns with the broader goals of multitude of blockchain and DLT projects, including but not limited to Quant, Casper, etc. So good find there from Smoke Dog. We certainly appreciate his insights. So lots of news happening around stablecoins, and that's probably one of the first bills we'll get passed here in 2025 by Congress and the government around stablecoins, and hopefully it's a positive impact for not only Ripple but Circle as well, and then of course we'll see what happens with Tether. Appreciate you guys jumping on. We'll certainly keep you updated. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. drop any comments in the comment section, and we'll see you on the flip side.